Week 8 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few wide receivers I looked at off the wire this week. The first guy, Josh Downs of the Indianapolis Colts. I mentioned Downs last week as a pickup, and not many people honestly went out there and got him, but right now he's the hottest pickup on the waiver wire. Another monster game versus a great Cleveland secondary. 5 catches, 125 yards, and a touchdown. And he started off the game pretty early with a 50-yard plus touchdown. In that one was down. So right now he's playing great football. He's putting up numbers, no doubt about it. Here he's Downs the last 3 weeks with double-digit fantasy points in PPR leagues. And this is a team that's going to be trailing possibly majority of the weeks is this Colt team with Gardner Minshew a quarterback getting off to a slow start. So now coming up here in Week 8, not a great matchup versus New Orleans, but like I said, Josh Downs, the last few weeks he's putting up numbers. He's making big plays for this Indianapolis Colt team. And he's also found the end zone now in the last 2 games as well. So right now, while he's still out there, surprisingly, he's down in 64%, where this obviously would be the last chance for owners to go out there and get him. He to pick up this week. The next pickup's Kendrick Bourne, the New England Patriots. Bourne, a lot of people thought it was fluky last week, and I didn't think much of it as well. But now 2 weeks in a row here, Bourne with big games. Week 6 at Vegas, 10 catches, 89 yards. And then Week 7 versus Buffalo, 6 catches, 63 yards, a touchdown, a fumble loss. So Week 8 here at the Miami Dolphins, it's going to be a game where the Patriots, if they want to keep up and put up points on the board, they're going to throw a lot. And Mac Jones' number 1 target right now is Kendrick Bourne. Juju Smith-Schuster, I know, was out in Week 7, but he hasn't been a factor at all this season here for this Patriot team. Devontae Parker, he's just another guy at this point with injuries in his career. But we also saw Demario Douglas have a decent ball game as well for this New England Patriot team. But right now, Kendrick Bourne, the number 1 wide receiver, and a guy making plays, and he had a good rapport even last season with Mac Jones as point of the year. So right now, while Bourne's available in tons of fantasy leagues as well in 74%, I would give him an ad this week. The next wide receiver is Jake Bobo of the Seattle Seahawks. So Bobo, he's been so far decent in the early going of the season. I know he's the 4th wide receiver when everyone's healthy. I know DK Metcalf missed that game in Week 7 versus the Cardinals, but Bobo, we even saw it some other weeks, some flashes from him. So right now, him and Geno Smith look like they had a decent rapport. He had his breakout game in Week 7, 4 catches, 61 yards, and a touch on an acrobatic grab in the back of the end zone. It was for Bobo. So right now, while he's available in 100% of fantasy leagues, and I know he's more of a deeper league ad, is Bobo, than your basic 10, 12 team league formats. But if you're deep diving at the wide receiver position and need a lottery ticket possibly, like I said, Bobo is a guy to get this week. The next receiver is Demario Douglas of the New England Patriots. So Demario Douglas pretty much hasn't had a role for the majority of the season. I missed Week 6 at the Vegas Raiders, so Week 7 his best game of his career. Carried 20 yards in that one, and 4 catches, 54 yards. So right now, New England, they've added some plays in the playbook here for Douglas. He's a wrinkle in the offense. He's a guy you can use as a gadget player, and he's got a lot of speed as well. He is Demario Douglas. He's available in 100% of fantasy leagues. And this Patriot team with the upset victory versus the Buffalo Bills, finding ways to get this offense generated, and they're trying to get speed on the field. So right now, if you want another guy who's got potential and possibly could get things going over the next few weeks, Demario Douglas, available in 100% of fantasy leagues. And the final wide receiver I look to get this week off the wire is Rashid Shaheed of the New Orleans Saints. I've mentioned Shaheed on and off for a few times this season here. And right now, he's the number 3 wide receiver, obviously, for this New Orleans Saints team. But he's a deep threat and a guy with a lot of speed as well. So the last few weeks here for Shaheed, Week 6 at the Texans, 2 carries, 18 yards, 2 catches, 85 yards a touch. And Week 7 versus the Jaguars, 4 catches, 28 yards on 8 targets. So right now, good matchup Week 8 at the Indianapolis Colts. They give up the 14th most fantasy points to wideouts on the season. And like I said, Shaheed and Derek Carr have a decent rapport. He's available right now in 63% of fantasy leagues. And if you need a guy who's got potential and towards the end of the season really could break out for fantasy owners, I think Shaheed is a decent ad this week. So that's a few wide receivers I look to add here in Week 8 of the fantasy football season.